Yeah, that was random. But hey guys, welcome back to everyone's favourite podcast. The Me and My Thinking podcast, and by everyone's favourite, I mean the one that no one basically watches because I get like 10 views. But yeah, I said I'd do another episode, like a week's time from last episode. It's been like 5 or 6 days, but I feel like it's time enough to do an episode because I feel like life recently means I have to talk to something. I need my outlet, which is apparently YouTube, because again, when you get no views, you can basically say anything on here because it's getting no views. I say this, I am trying to be controversial, so... Oh, and it's a low battery warning. Okay. Starters for this week. I went back in the past this week and I've healed some of my old friendships. Which I know people are going to be like, well, when you move forward, you should move forward, leave things in the past. That's where they're meant to be. Some things aren't meant to be left in the past. And by that, I mean, God will give you signs of like whether or not you should leave things in the past. And the things you shouldn't leave in the past are the ones you're constantly being reminded of. And especially, I don't like unfinished business, you know what I mean? And especially when you leave things on bad terms with people, it's always like a horrible feeling. Especially because I'd rather just leave things on good terms with people. If you leave things on good terms, you know you've like ended it mutually and it's fine. When things are on bad terms and the way it ended just doesn't sit right with you, it will haunt you. And that's why I truly believe when you end things on good terms, you will like, not see them again. But if you don't end things on good terms, you're most likely gonna see them again because nobody likes unfinished business, especially not me apparently. So yeah, I just heard of situations that reminded me of the situation that I was in that didn't really end well, and maybe it was partly to do with my mistakes in communication and some things, and her mistakes in also communication and understanding, and we just didn't communicate right. So I went back and I fixed it. Like, we're gonna try make an effort. It's been 9 months since we like were last close, but she was like my sister at that point. So like, once you've formed that sisterhood, I think it's really hard to like move on from that type of thing. Like, I actually think she'll be at my wedding one day, hopefully. But yeah, we're gonna try our hardest on that friendship, and hopefully it works out. But that is everyone's sign out there, If you've got something that's haunting you, put your pride aside, put your ego aside, and go back and try rectify it. Because you know what? When I sent the message and reached out after 9 months, I wasn't trying. I really didn't care what happened, and I truly mean that. If she wanted to just leave me unaired, that's fine. If she wanted to reply, that's fine. If she wanted an argument, that's fine. Because the point was, when I reached out, it was never with like ill intention, right? It was like to almost just leave my conscience clear. And some people would be like, well, that's selfish of you to like open up old past drama for a clear conscience. But the thing was, I wasn't opening up old past drama. I wrote an apology, I sent it, and then I said it's up to her if she wants that as closure and we don't talk again and we stay how we are, or if she wanted to meet up and she wanted to meet up. Point being, if something haunts you to the point where you're thinking about it over the 9 months and you have regrets, don't let the regrets eat up at you, okay? Because things can be fixed. Try fix them, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, I forgot what I was going to say, but like, yeah, you have nothing to lose if you just put your pride aside and listen to other people's feelings and hear them out, because sometimes those friendships are the things you really need. And yeah, you can't fight what's meant for you. If that friendship's meant for you, it will find its way back to you. So yeah, sometimes just fighting for things you believe in. If like, I don't do fights, I don't do arguments, I don't do confrontation, but if a person to me is truly worth it, I will, like, that's the same with long distance, right? Because I've traveled a lot, I've been to a lot of different countries. I don't do long distance, I don't do long distance friendships, don't do long distance relationships, right? Only with a few people. I only do 3 or 4 long distance friendships, and those people to me are truly worth it. Like, it's not hard to reach out to them. Our conversations seem chill, you know what I mean? Like, they keep me updated on their lives, I keep them updated on my lives, and that's what I mean. Like, it feels like it's doable. But only 2 or 3 people in my life I'll ever try and make that effort for because they're worth it. Some people, once I leave, you're dead to me. Like, if you're not worth it in my mind, I'm not going to be putting the effort in from like 3,000 miles away to be like, oh, what's up? I just feel it's really fake, and people move on fast in life, you know what I mean? Like, when you go back and see them, it's not going to be the same. So unless the person is truly worth it, you won't catch me doing like long distance. But like, when something in my mind is worth fighting for, I will fight for it. I'm a very non-confrontational person though, and that's where like a lot of the issues came from in the first place, because I'm scared of communicating where I feel people have done me wrong or what upset me, and so I will just push it down. But then other people communicate to me what upsets them of my actions. And the thing is, like, I accept that, and I'm not trying to deny them that, but then I also think, well, they've done things to hurt me, I've just not voiced it, so, like, that's where the confrontation happens to be. But, yeah, so I'm going to try to be better at confronting problems, and my friend's going to try to be better at, like, just not being non-confrontational, but yeah. Second thing I'd want to say is, yeah, I think I'd like to start small drama to, distract myself from the big drama. And by that I mean I'm meant to be moving to uni in 2 weeks, so I haven't really started anything for my uni, like uni packing, uni list. I haven't done any of that yet. Yeah, we're flying out, traveling. Currently in the state of denial, I would say, but no. See what I mean? Like, I'd rather start small drama within friendship groups, or like, you know what I mean? Like, sorting this out between friends, than focus on the big drama of actually moving, because it's hard to wrap your head around a big problem, but if you have small problems to distract you from that, you don't even get a chance to wrap your head around the big problem, and then eventually I'll just be in uni, and I wouldn't have even had time to think about it, which I think is what I'm doing right now. But yeah, so here I am being my, I don't want to say toxic self, but my self-destructive self as usual. So no new surprise there. What else would I say? Frick. I know I'm sat on the floor, it's just, I low-key do love the floor. A bit of floor time for everyone is good. Oh gosh, I'm tired, I can't breathe. Okay, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, it's strange, it's just really strange, you know, like moving and starting a new life somewhere else, and then you're gonna come, the thing with uni, right, is I don't get to leave this place completely, because I have to come back here in like Christmas break, summer break, Easter break, and all those stuff, so it's not like I can abandon this life behind, which is what I'm so used to. I'm so used to just like, what's the word, creating a life for myself in a country, and then when we have to leave, it's abandoned. I don't contact anyone, you won't see from me, you won't hear from me again, you're basically dead to me. But like in this scenario, it's difficult because like, since my parents are about here, when I come back for summer, winter, Christmas, like, I'm going to be spending a good 5 months of my year here, maybe, or 6 months, so I can't really abandon this life behind. So I'm trying to like figure out ways to maintain those relationships and friendships, but I also just can't be bothered. Like, it's really hard because I generally can't be asked. Okay, what else was I gonna say? I got things on my notes. Give me 10 seconds. Okay, dokie. Okay. Oh, also, yeah, so I might be going to a function this weekend, or helping co-host a function, which is really excited. Because last time I hosted a function, it was at my house, and the thing was, when I hosted it, I don't really host, right? So I was just like, bring whoever you want. Yeah, it's chill. Use my house, take my house, do what you want to my house. That is never the way apparently people should go about functions. Don't be like, take my house, use my house, do what you want to my house. No. Because when you say that to people, you're gonna have like 20, 30 people you don't even know in your house, eating your fridge food, breaking lights, and just like total chaos, people going to rooms if you don't border them off and stuff. So that was just the wrong way to go about hosting a function, but thankfully I'm co-hosting with one of my friends this time, and it's not in my house, it's at her house, which is even more exciting, because I don't know, it's fun to attend functions, but there's just something so special about being a host, or like knowing the host, bro. It's like you're in the inner circle. I don't know why, I just love the inner circle of like functions and stuff. You're like in on all the drama, you know what's happening. Maybe I just like the power trip. Nah, maybe I do. Okay, maybe I'm toxic like that. Call me toxic. I might like the power trip of being like in the inner circle of a function, but it is fun, man. When you like befriend the hosts in functions, oh my gosh, it's just 10 times funner because they know what everything is, right? Like, they're holding back sometimes what they might actually have to offer because they're keeping it for just their inner circle. So once you get into the inner circle, it's really fun. Actually, that's what me and my friend who I'm hosting with, or co-hosting, or helping to host with this weekend, we used to do when we went to parties. So basically, we would try and get into the inner circle of the function, and then yeah, we'd basically befriend them, and then, do you know, like when everyone else would leave, would stay for the afters, which was really fun, to be honest. That's my type of like function vibe. When you get to stay for the afters, you know you've befriended the host pretty well. So okay, what else? So yeah, basically that was the first thing on my notes, was just a list of people's names possibly to invite to this function. I've got a lovely paragraph note here that says life feels weird. Okay, so this one was maybe something I wrote the other day. On my note I put, we cope the best way we can when it comes to change. Our brains will always search for the positives because that's the only way we can move forward and do better. And I truly believe this, because even when I don't want to do something, I don't want to go somewhere, like I don't want to do it, my brain will still search for the goods in it, because if not, I wouldn't survive. Like, I've moved a lot, and I've moved so much. A lot of the times when I was older, when I was younger, it didn't really impact me much, but when you're older, you make connections, you understand what it means to move countries and leave people behind and not see them again. So especially like in my teenage years, because I had to move when I was 13 to England, and I moved back from England when I was 15 to here, and then yeah, I've been here since, and I'm 18 now, so thankfully I've lived here 3 years, which was really nice. Or 3 to 4 years, it's almost 4 years. I think actually, no, it's hit 4 years now, but yeah, But when you have to move in your teenage time, before that, I've just moved around a lot. I've been in 3 different countries, 7 different schools, 10 different houses. It was a lot moving. But the thing is, right, even when you don't want to move, your brain always searches for the positives in situations. And by this, I mean, back when I was 13, 15, and I didn't want to move here, I'd look into the house and I'd be like, wow, the house we're moving to looks so nice. And like, that would excite me. And even in the hardest times of moving, there would be that type of thing to look forward to. And I notice my brain does it a lot now. I don't want to move back to England, bro. My life is good here. I finally found a home. I feel settled down. I feel safe. I love this country so much. The safety for women here is amazing. You know what I mean? It's just so good as a country to live in. Oh my gosh, I think I'm so blessed to be here. And I don't know if you're here to go back to England, which apparently on Instagram is the 2nd most miserable country in the world, which I'm not shocked on. The weather ain't great there, so like, yeah, and the safety wise and everything for women, it's just not the place to be apparently. But I have to do it because that's what uni is. That's how you grow, obviously. But it's not very exciting, I guess. But like, even then, my brain's looking for reasons to be excited. Like, oh, freshers, the dorm room will be nice, even though it's going to be really tiny, but it'll be nice. You know what I mean? My brain's looking for the positives to survive, because survival, you can only survive if you're positive, I think. If you go with things with a negative mindset, you're not going to thrive. And so a lot of the times when change happens, and if you go in there with a negative mindset, it's hard to adjust. And I want to adjust quite well, is what I'd say. So, yeah, I noticed it with my brain. My brain will do anything and everything to find the positives in a situation to help me survive through it. Okay, so sure, we have messed up in the past, but we're making the active choice to rectify our mistakes. We're no longer running away from being confronted by them because we know that's what needs to be done to reach resolution. I truly mean this. I've learned this. I think it's taking time, but confrontation means resolution. If you want resolution from a problem, you can't expect to not be confronted about it. You have to have that confrontation to have resolution. It's a means of communication. At the end of the day, if you don't confront somebody and tell somebody, look, your actions are hurting me in this way, you're not going to get resolution because they don't know. So even if they wanted to resolve this problem with you, they have no clue. So it's good to be non-confrontational at times, but it's also good to know when to confront about things. And also, if you've made a mistake and you want to fix the problem, you're going to have to go through that confrontation. And that's what I found recently with my friend. It's like, you're going to have those hard conversations. The friendship can't just be like peaceful 24/7. Sometimes when people make mistakes, you're going to have those hard conversations and come out the other end stronger, or else you're going to crumble. Because what happens if you don't have these hard conversations is you hold it all in yourself, and then eventually you can't, like, it just builds up until the resentment you have for these people you call your friends, your best friends, is too much. And then the friendship becomes draining, and then you leave the friendship. And the thing is, that was such a good friendship in your life, and you could have like had this long lasting friendship if you just communicated better, because confrontation is a means of communication. And that's why I truly think anyone who tells you to like shy away from confrontation and stuff, there's times when like I think communication just needs to be confrontational. But the thing with confrontation is 2 different things. Calling someone out on something and shouting at them are 2 different things, right? Like, calling someone out on something and saying it in a nice way, that's not passive aggressive, and that's just respectful. Like, hey, look, I know, like, you probably didn't mean it in a bad way, but this and this really hurt me a lot. Like, I just want to know why you did those certain things and how we can improve on this, or like, also if there's anything I'm doing wrong in our friendship or relationship to improve this. That's fine. What isn't fine is when people straight up are passive aggressive at you, or like speak in spirals, like, oh yeah, we're chill, but also like maybe don't do, like, the tone is really passive aggressive. And also, I just don't believe in shouting at people. Like, I understand people are passionate when they speak in conversations, but I don't believe that shouting gets any points across. And I mean, I'm not perfect. I shout in my family when it comes to confrontation. But like, on the aspect of like friends and friendships, I don't believe in shouting at each other to help get points across. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I feel like if you need to shout that much, you just need to take a breath, walk away from the situation, and discuss it when you're less passionate about it, because shouting is just too much. And that often it kind of, if people have been around that a lot in their lives, they don't really want to be around it anymore, so they'll kind of run away from that situation, or they'll leave the friendship. And yeah, so there's a difference. You can confront someone without having to shout and be loud. You can do it in a nice way, which gets your point across, but also doesn't come off as aggressive. And yeah, that would be my point. Confrontation often leads to resolution. Also, I'm fed up of people, right, holding people's mistakes over your head like you owe them something, because you don't. And this just comes from general situations in my life where, like, I've made mistakes and people have had to look after me because of them in certain situations, like, because, like, I was pretty young. And then what's happened is, I found myself in, when I'm in the same type of situations, trying to force myself to prove to people that I'm not this image they have of me in their mind, where in their mind I'm this crazy person who, like, got no control over nothing. But I know that's not true for a fact. I just know situational factors led me to be like that when they had to look after me. However, the thing with people is, I feel like once you apologize to someone, they have two choices, and I think this a lot because it's the truth. You know, you say sorry to someone, you ask for forgiveness, and they have two choices at that point. They can forgive you and decide to move on, or they can end the friendship or relationship. And both choices are completely valid, because if you've done something that's hurt someone or is a mistake, you have to be prepared for that when you apologize. But if someone accepts your apology and, like, decides to continue on the friendship, then it's not, like, what's it called, your responsibility to prove. So we're back after that quick ad break. Just kidding. It's because I had to put my iPad on charge, and also I was out of storage. But anyways, point being, on this podcast, I was just saying, if you make a mistake and someone chooses to forgive you, they have to get over that mistake themselves, and it's not your responsibility to keep trying to prove to them that you're different and you've changed and this and that because they accepted your mistake. It's so easy. They could have rejected the relationship once you made that mistake, and they could have said they wanted it to be over. But if they choose to forgive you and move on, obviously do your best to not make the same mistakes again, not repeat those mistakes, not, like, if you're going to apologize, make the active choice to be better, but also they need to not be, like, talking, because I've been in so many friendships where, like, I make a mistake and I apologize, I try to be better, and then you hear from other people that behind your back, they're talking about you and they don't like you and they secretly think this and that. And I think in those type of friendships, you gotta kind of know when to throw in the bag. Is that the saying? I don't know, but you just gotta know when to give up on them, because if a person forgives you and you're making the active choice to change and be better, and you're not making those same mistakes again, but they're still talking rubbish behind your back, they don't have the right to do that, then they're in the wrong. Because, to be honest, they didn't have to forgive you, they didn't have to continue your friendship or relationship, but they chose to. That was their choice, just like you had the choice to apologize and put yourself on the line and stuff. That was their choice, so they can't hold your mistakes over your head forever. In fact, I think that should be thought of almost as a manipulation tactic in this generation, because if someone is constantly trying to hold your mistakes over your head and remind you of, oh, look, yeah, you might be improving now, but remember in the past when you did this and that, well, they just want you to think they're superior to you. And it's like these people have the superiority complex where they need everyone to think that they're better than everyone else because they haven't made those mistakes necessarily. And in those types of friendships, it's very draining, and it makes the person very anxious, especially me. When I was in those friendships, I was, like, constantly trying to think, do I need to prove myself to this person? I need to show them I'm different. You don't need to show anyone you're different. You don't owe anything to anyone, actually. You could be exactly who you want to be. Keep making the same mistakes, and to be honest, you don't owe them that. But out of the goodness in your heart, after making a mistake, a lot of people feel guilt and they want to change, and that's up to you. Again, you don't owe them that. You don't owe them that. They chose to continue the friendship, and that's the thing. Again, if you've apologized and you said you're going to change, then maybe you owe them a bit of change, but you don't owe them a constant, like, oh, look, I'm better. You're allowed to be yourself, and I think that's what people need to realize. And the real ones stay. The real ones allow you to make mistakes. The real ones understand, and that type of energy is always reciprocated back, where it's like, they make mistakes, I make mistakes, we don't judge each other. And the fake ones, you'll see the fake ones, because I don't like talking about real and fake, because I find it very, like, you know, what is that, like, Gen Alpha language, but, like, the fake ones, right, you'll see the fake ones, they leave the second things get hard. And I've actually been in situations like this where, like, in the past, people know, like, what's it called, I'm very, like, liable when it comes to being in functions and stuff. Sometimes I need to be taken care of, and that was, like, me last year when I wasn't, like, really into functions, and I started getting into them. And, like, again, when you grow up and you haven't been into things and you're into them and people have been there for a longer time, it takes you time to adjust, but to them, they've been doing this forever, so it looks like you're, very, like, unprepared and stuff for those type of things, but they've been doing that type of functions and stuff forever, so they know how to handle it already. So it's you're playing a different game. They're playing checkers, you're playing chess. But the thing is, once you get the hang of it, it's actually very easy to control yourself. And I actually remember recently in one of these functions, I thought someone was just like to be trying to like control what I was having and stuff. But I said, look, I got control over myself. I know how to handle myself these days. Trust I'm different. And they went, okay, well, I'm not going to take care of you today. Even though, again, we were friends. Okay, we're friends. We came to the same function together. Like, we've come here together with like this mutual agreement. Like, we're friends. We'll look out for each other. This person point blank to my face said, okay, yeah, well, I'm looking after you today. And I said, okay, that's chill. You don't have to look after me. I can look after myself. Like, I have full trust in myself because I've changed my habits and I've changed the way I am, so I can have full trust in myself in that way. Guess who had to be looked after that night? The same person who said to me they wouldn't be looking after me, and guess who got that person home? I did. And I'm not saying this as, oh, well, look, I'm so great these days and these people. I'm saying the double standards there were so funny because it was just kind of ironic to me. This person was saying to me, I'm not going to be taking care of you. And, you know, at that point, I could be the bad person in a situation afterwards. And when she needed help, I could have easily said to her, oh, well, sorry, I can't really take care of you. I've got to get home myself. But, you know, I'm not petty like that. Out of the goodness in my heart, I thought, okay, do you know what? She's my friend. We came to the function together. I'm gonna get her home safe. But the thing is, I noted that down. I know that type of stuff down. You know what I mean? Like, what's if someone's gonna say to my face, you're not gonna take care of me, but I take care of you? That's what I mean. Some friendships aren't meant to be friendships. Some friendships are just fake. And yeah, once you realize who the fake ones are, just distance yourself from them. You don't have to create drama. You don't have to like start issues. Just distance yourself. Ghost them until eventually there's just no friendship left and they reach out like once a year. That's fine, to be honest. But you know, the point is everyone's allowed to make mistakes and it's valid too. What else would I say? Okay, I'm gonna watch these back and then I'm gonna come back. I'm back. And basically I was just talking about emotional distress and tolerance, right? Because basically, I've been to therapy recently and the therapist suggested I go to something called DBT. I've researched into it on TikTok, obviously, because where else would I be researching my life information except TikTok? But yeah, TikTok's very helpful when it comes to that because you're meant to attend groups. Obviously, let me just get my phone. Yeah, but you're meant to basically, you know, okay. You're meant to obviously attend groups and stuff, and it's not meant to be like just TikTok diagnoses you and TikTok helps. TikTok just gave me a clue of basically the basics of it, and so I'm gonna read it to you guys because I think that it just helps anyone who needs help with like emotions and being emotionally mature. And by that I mean you don't have to like be over emotional to need help with your emotions. It's the way you act in stressful times. And like me, for example, when time is stressful, I'm in denial, or I'm not in denial, but I won't be focused on the right things. So I'll run away from my problems. I'll act very impulsively, and I'll be very, very self-destructive just because, you know, it's just easier to be self-destructive in that point of time because at that point, when times are stressful, I go with the really I don't care mindset, like whatever happens, happens, and I end up like destroying it more. But okay, so there's different types of DBT. It's a therapy called dialectical behavior therapy, guys, and according to TikTok, shout out TikToks are the helpful ones. Mindfulness, it practices mindfulness, which allows us to comfort the transient nature of our feelings and to ground ourselves. See, the thing with that though is like I would try practice mindfulness, but I can't. Like, I know people go like breathe and do yoga and stuff, bro. When I breathe, you know, I'm still thinking. Like when you shut your eyes and people are just like focus on nothing else but breathing. You think I can do that? Like within 5 seconds my brain is starting to think about something cool. How weird everyone's breathing. Like I can't just focus on the like nothing, because then focusing on nothing, I'm trying to focus on that, and then I don't know, it's just so mindfulness never really works for me. I mean, I guess it's different for everyone, but like you have apparently body scans, describing emotions, observing, breath work. I mean, I guess you can describe emotions. You've got distress tolerance, and this focuses on ways to navigate the discomfort of intense emotions without running away from our feelings. I definitely need that, to be honest. One set of DBT stress tolerance is known as the acronym TIP, which stands for temperature, intense exercise, paced breathing, and progressive muscle reaction. See, and the thing is, bro, before I even knew what this was, my brain is so smart. When I'm stressed, I go on runs. Like, I do intense exercise the second I get stressed. It's almost like my brain knew I needed this, but, like, just didn't know the right ways to do it. So I was only doing half of this before I was even told to do DBT. My therapist told me to dip my head into ice cold water. That works. That does work. It feels really relaxing once you get your head out of it, but for me. I almost end up drowning every time I do that because for some reason I can't dip my head into water and breathe like a normal person can. So yeah, but ice cubes, I love ice cubes. They're very nice. Holding ice cubes, intense exercise, like the breathing. It's one of those things I'm like, I don't know how to breathe and just not think of anything, which is why I find it like a bit complicated. When everyone's just like, when you tell someone you have a problem, right, they're just like, yeah, you need to just do breath work and breathe. Like, bro, what? That's not gonna solve the problem. In fact, that's just gonna mean I'm gonna be thinking about that problem when I'm trying to breathe. I feel like it's a very dismissive thing too. It's like when you tell someone like you have a problem and everyone's just like, oh yeah, just go breathe. Well, wow, that really solved my problem, people. Like, no, the problem's still there. The breathing's done nothing. In fact, I've just lost my time to breathing. Like, bro, I breathe on a regular basis. Why am I, like, practicing breathing? It doesn't make sense to me, but I mean, I suppose it works for some people, so if it works for you, it works for you. I'm just saying it's hella annoying when you, like, go and tell people, oh, like, I've got issues, or, like, I'm stressed about this. Oh, yeah, just practice breathing. Really, really, really helped no one ever when someone said that. Emotion regulation empowers us to move through difficult emotions. E.g. practicing kindness when feeling angry. I think there's also things like you can journal your emotions, write them down in DBT. That's very helpful. Yeah, where was it? I found a really good one which shows, yeah, like, wait, is it this one maybe? Wait. Oh, great Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi chose one day not to work when I wanted to make this video. Okay, I'm gonna have to edit this out. Bro, I'm hearing noises. I'm hearing someone's phone ring, but the thing is, like, I don't know. Oh, so yeah, this was a very good one. So it's basically a cheat sheet, and it's saying, so like, if you're in a crisis urge and you're overwhelmed, you have to self-soothe or something like that. It's just basically, right, so if you're like prone, like I am, when you're in a crisis or like in a big problem, are you prone to like creating big problems out of that problem so that you don't have to think about that problem, like in my case, right? When I was mid-exams and like really stressed, my brother was going to uni, I decided to throw myself into functions, like right before my exams, right before my brother went to uni, because why focus on life when I could be in a function, not focusing on life, but also still being miserable? Because when you're at a function and your life isn't great, you're not going to feel the function's great, you're just going to feel miserable, bro. I'm telling you, it's never a vibe to go to a function when everything else around you is screwed, because I'm telling you, it's escapism, but you're not escaping, because you know you have to go home to that stuff afterwards. And to be honest, that's why the function ends up miserable, because bro, you can only fake so much. And I seriously mean it, because when my life weren't going great and like this big change was happening, my older brother was going to uni, I had exams coming up, I was anxious about that, and then I'd just, instead of focusing and accepting and coming to terms with all this like a regular person, I'd be like, how can I get away from my feelings? That's right, let me get myself into any function and every function. And then in the function, once you're away from those feelings, you don't get away from them, you just project them in different ways. And what I mean by that is, once you've had like a bit of like stuff at functions and stuff, yeah, that sadness you felt is going to come out as anger in a different way, or that anger you felt is going to come out as sadness in a different way, because you have no control over how you react at functions, especially after you've like indulged in stuff and you're having a good time. And the thing is, I've noticed this, you'll be happy when you're dancing with the music and everyone, you'll still feel like you're running away from something. There'll be like a slight thing in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, like when I get home I'm gonna have to deal with this. You'll know that that's like always gonna be in the back of your mind. And the second you're like in the car on the way home and yeah, basically it's silent and yeah, you're just by yourself, you'll bawl your eyes out. And it's happened to me too many times, but it's like, yeah, when I'm around people and the music's nice, yeah, I'm having a great time. But when oh, actually, at the most recent function of that, I couldn't accept that I was going to uni, and so yeah, after a certain point, after I'd had enough of everyone, I ended up in the toilet crying to myself, like just in the toilet of a function. And that's what I mean, it's not a fun time if you're going to a function and you've got too much going on in your life at home, because you're not escaping those problems, you know you have to return to them. It's like a temporary, I can't say that now, it's like a temporary relief from those functions. Oh, shout out to speech therapy kids. I don't know why I've just said this, but like when I was younger, I used to have a speech impediment, like when I was like really young, and I used to have to be dragged out of class to like sit with this woman and like read the speech cards, because I used to have like I forgot what it is, like a lisp. But yeah, I couldn't say my S's and my R's, so yeah, shout out that woman, bro. I was in her like speech therapy class this whole time. It was actually low-key a vibe though, so we were out there vibing. But yeah, point being, yeah, so functions aren't the place to be going if you're having a bad day. In fact, functions are never really the place to be going if you want actually to find something real. What else is on my list, bro? Yeah, okay, if anyone wants some ideas for what you could be doing instead of going to a function, a karaoke room, you can do that instead of a function. This is just a list me and my friend made because we were fed up with the function, so we wanted to do different things. Painting plates. This sounds really fun. I really want to go there. Cooking class, kayaking, or like just something in your local park area. Ears piercing. I mean, yeah, this applies to both genders. A zoo or aquarium. I've never been to a zoo, but I really did, like, since I was young, but I really want to go to a petting zoo. I want to see the animals. They're so cute. Okay. Travel to a different city. Again, depends where you live. Building Legos, bro. I think there's two types of people in this world. People who love Lego and people who think it's childish. If you think it's childish to build Lego, I think you're the real child in this situation, because there's nothing more fun than having 10,000 million Lego pieces and instructions, and then you're full, bro. And I swear IKEA furniture is the same. Putting together IKEA furniture will never not be fun. Like, bro, get me the hammer. I wish, like, that's why, like, I wish when I'm older I have enough time to become like one of those building people. Like, I keep seeing these men on TikTok build furniture for their wives, and I'm like, this is sick. This looks so fun. Like, imagine being that independent. Like, out of nowhere you can build a shed. Like, bro, I want to do that. Like, what? Imagine building your own house. Like, everyone makes fun of bricklayers for some reason, but I actually think it's quite sick. Like, everyone who's like, oh, you fail your GCSEs, you become a bricklayer. I mean, the meme's funny, but it's also quite sick. Like, imagine being so self-sufficient once you know the skills. Like, you know how to build a house by yourself, and like, I don't know, that's just the type of knowledge I want to gain in life, you know? I want to know how to build a house brick by brick, and like, I want to know how to set up electricity and like plumbing and pipes and stuff. It just sounds like, do you know, like, be so self-sufficient, like, you'd be like, I don't even need people. Like, once you know those type of skills, find like a field, build yourself a house, set up the electricity. Like, I don't know, bro, it just sounds so sick. Like, so yeah, maybe when I'm retired in life, I'll figure out how to build a house and set up pipes and the mains. But that generally sounds so cool. So yeah. Yeah, building Legos, escape rooms. I kind of want to do the horror ones, but I'm also terrified. Like, I've seen the horror ones here, whether they chase you. But bro, just best believe I see a man running after me in a dark room. Whether or not it's an escape room, I'm kicking that man. I am kicking the man, I'm throwing my phone. Also, has anyone ever considered, like, the phone as a weapon of self-defense? I don't know if it's just me, maybe I'm a bit crazy, maybe I daydream a bit too much, but I've always come up with, like, my escape plan scenarios if someone ever came into my house, or like something. First of all, okay, if anyone ever came near me and I didn't want them near me, I'm not just gonna be a regular person and tell you to go away. I'll say, like, leave me alone. If you don't leave me alone, this thick brick of a phone is coming to your head, okay? Bam. Okay. Okay, anyways, well, maybe I need to practice my aim because I'm really bad at aiming for things, but bam, that's hitting you in the head. And if I have my portable charger on that too, bam. And the thing is that after I've called 911, obviously, don't just chuck a phone at a person and, like, then how are you gonna call for help? No, call for help first and then bam, on your head it's going. Yep, that's just my backup plan, you know what I mean? This is a weapon in itself. This is like a full-blown brick. That really hurt, but if that type of thing hits you, miles per hour, bro, that hurts. Like, you know when you're, like, watching TikTok at night and it falls on your face? That is pain. Like, that was my defense plan on the stream. If someone ever comes in my house, like, when I'm alone and I don't know what to do, best believe I'll be throwing toilet cleaner at you. And by that, I mean I'm gonna find bleach and I'm gonna keep it by my bed. And someone's gonna be like, why? Well, we're not allowed to have weapons, obviously, like in the UK and stuff. But you know what is a weapon in itself? Bleach. Have you ever heard someone be like, oh my gosh, I got bleach in my eyes? And I was like, okay, no. See, what's gonna happen if someone tries to enter my room? I'm gonna have bleach by my bed, and if they don't go away peacefully, you're getting that chucked in your eyes. Once that's chucked in your eyes and you can't see, I'm gonna kick you. Like, I'm not very good at kicking, but I'm gonna kick you. And then I'm gonna run out the room. And maybe, just maybe, I'll pour more bleach on the floor, like, just so you slip. I don't know, maybe pour some soap on the floor, who knows. Yep, I'm gonna run, and then maybe I'll get a car, and I'll start driving away. If I don't have a car, I'm gonna be throwing my phone at you and running. But the point is, I have a backup plan, you know what I mean? When I was younger, I used to think, even before I could drive, okay, I was like a rubbish driver, but I used to think if someone tried to rob my house, I would throw toilet cleaner in their eyes, obviously. Then I would chuck tuna on them because my dog loves to smell tuna. So my dog would just jump on them. I don't think she would though. My dog's really relaxed like that. And then, yeah. I would run away, like, downstairs, and instead of calling 911 like a normal person, I'd get in the car and drive off. This being said, I could not drive at that time, so that was a bit of a delusional one, but no, now I have a really good backup plan. Anyone tries to come near me, bro, you're getting bleach in your eyes, and, like, yeah, that's also I don't understand, like, by UK law, you can't carry a taser or, like, pepper spray around, right? And it's like, okay, let's chill, but, like, if someone comes and attacks me, what am I meant to do? And then the thing is, like, I'm like, I don't care. Like, let me carry my taser around. Let me carry pepper spray. What are they gonna do? Lock me up? Yeah, apparently it's a first-degree offense if you get caught with them. It's like as bad as having a weapon on you. But bro, if I was in a situation where I desperately needed it and I used it because someone was trying to attack me, then I'd become the villain. Like, that's how screwed up the law is. I don't understand. Like, what? So you care that little about you women's safety? They can't carry anything around. 5% of the crimes in the UK actually get solved. 95% go unsolved. But then if someone attacked me and I happen to have a taser or pepper spray on me and I attack them back, then I become the one in the wrong. I feel like that's a bit screwed up, to be honest, but I don't know where we've ended up on this conversation. What else is there on this list? I just like looking through my notes. Sometimes I'm wondering where I've got this from. Okay, so, yeah, basically I've got a lot of food lists. These are the things I need to do for university, apparently. To buy a new computer, hair/eyebrows. I just need to get my eyebrows done. I don't need to do my hair because yeah, hair's too expensive, and also I want to get my teeth whitened, so I ain't doing hair. Clothes, IKEA, bro, I love IKEA. Glasses, that's what I want to do today, which I didn't really actually get done. I went in looking for glasses. I couldn't find any glasses. I don't know how to make a choice to save my life by myself, so I'm gonna have to do that with my parents because, like, I found some different frames. Like, shout out the people there, but, like, also I don't know which to choose. You're telling me I have to choose by myself? Hell no, that's a lot of money to be spending on something I'm choosing by myself. This one, I think, was something I wrote when I was watching someone's Instagram story and I felt like I was missing out. Even though I personally chose to quit that life. So I put, that's not the life I wanted anyway, so why does it matter? And it's true, so many times in life, I think we all find ourselves, like, watching someone else's story, even after being, like, grateful you're no longer in that life. Like, I used to be, like, really deep in the function life, but, like, let's go out, let's find a function, anything. When you realise it's draining, it's not real, and it just, the things you do at functions are so draining, you quit it, right? And sometimes you see people posting on their stories and you go, oh wow, maybe I am missing out, maybe I do want to be back in that. That's not the life you wanted anyway, like, and you realise that the life I wanted was one where I don't wake up losing days of my life to just being so tired from the night before or so sick from the night before. Like, and I'm really actually happy where I am now in my life. Like, it's been maybe 2 or 3 weeks since I've gotten like that, right? And it's just like, I don't know, I'm at peace. Like, even if I'm upset with my feelings, it's easier to just sit through them than run away to a function. And yeah, that's not the life I wanted anymore, so why does it matter? And yeah, it's so easy once you realise that to just move on. So yeah, I wrote that down. So this one's called How to Heal. I don't know why I have something called How to Heal in my notes. It says you don't think of healing, that will be the result, but thinking about it makes it seem like a huge task. Then I put 2, you figure. Yeah, I think when you heal, you don't have to think of healing. You have to think of how to, I forgot what I was going to say on that one, so yeah. This one's called Crash Out. Let me see if this is the one I can share. This is a locked notes, guys, so. Okay, so I'm gonna just read the first bit and then the second bit I can't really read. Every time you hurt me, I build my walls 10 times higher. I don't know how guarded I'll be around others eventually, but I do know that you're the only one that I take the walls down for, just to let you hurt me again. It's my fault for thinking you can change, because you don't. You keep hurting me, and I feel stupid every time. It eventually happens because I took the walls down for you. I showed you my emotions, and you showed me they meant nothing and just hurt me again. I don't think I'll ever stop taking my walls down for you. You're my something. I'll always need your approval and validation, but I'm starting to resent you, and I feel like too many feelings are existing. It's too much to feel. I'd rather just not interact with you and avoid having to feel it. And the person did hurt me yet again, but also, when it's good, it's good, when it's bad, but sometimes I think we just have to accept. I don't think some things will change. Some things are just going to be like that. Ooh, we got quotes from my autobiography. I'm going to actually have to cut this podcast down, but yes. First quote I really like, it says, what does it say actually? At one point you have to pick between health and happiness. Pick health because soon you'll see that choosing health will give you happiness. I think this is true. If you're at a crossroads in life and you're really depressed from both ways of living, like, you tried to be alone and that's hurtful, and you've tried to be friends and, like, do all these draining activities that are bad for your health, and that's also hurtful. Pick health, okay? Pick being alone. Okay, because even though that's draining, once you choose your health and you go to the gym and you do stuff, you start building a self-worth for yourself. right? You start showing yourself you can show up and commit to something. I say this, I've not been to the gym at all this week, I'm going tomorrow though, it's fine. But no, you start showing yourself you can commit to something, and that you're worth more to yourself, and that your body is worth more to you. And once you choose that, then it's really hard not to be happy, because you get endorphins from the gym. And that's the difference, right? When you go to functions and you get the happiness and you get the dopamine, it's from fake things. When you go to the gym and you get these endorphins, it's from real things. You're doing good things to your body. You know you're not going to wake up the next morning feel tired and drained. Like, yeah, maybe your muscles hurt, but it's the good type of hurt. So yeah, I do believe that one. If you have to pick between health and happiness, pick health, because yeah, it's definitely gonna lead to some sort of happiness. Sometimes it's okay to listen to the voices in your head, so long as you harness the power, because at the end of the day, those voices, if used right, can be your motivation. By this, I think I probably did just mean, like, especially me, I'm someone who, I have a lot of conversations in my head. I think I've had every single conversation I could in my head. In fact, I think I've actually had conversations with myself about the past and tried to, like, recreate these, like, scenarios in my head of what could have happened differently, and had those conversations in my head too. And sometimes it's hard because you're surrounded by all these voices in your head, like the ones that say, oh, you're not going to win, you're not going to do this, they're right about you, this and that. It's okay to listen to them, but if you take their power, you know what I mean? Like, if you feel sad and upset about something or anxious about something, use that anxiety for the better, and you can use it as motivation. Like, yeah, so if your head thinks you're going to lose, prove your head wrong. Like, I don't know. It's never too late to become a part of something. Don't let others tell you it is. It's the truth, you know? You think it's too late to become a part of a friendship or start a new friendship or do this and that. It's never too late. Like, I'm telling you, it's never too late. God's timing will always be the most important timing. Again, remember, you're running by God's clock, not by everyone else's. And it really hurts me sometimes. I actually saw a TikTok today. It's like these people saying, like, oh, like, it's hard to start a sport when I'm 16 and everyone's been playing the sport for my whole life. It's never too late, you know what I mean? Train hard, try hard. You'll get there. You'll become professional. And soon other people will be like, wow, she's been doing this sport for her whole life. How do I become like her? It's never too late. Like, don't ever think that. Someday you're gonna find out that all the things you hate about yourself will become the things you love the most. I think I agree with this one to some extent. Maybe not the things you love the most, but the most unique things about you sometimes, and the things that give you personality. Me personally, one thing I've always not really liked was my nose. And when I was younger, I kind of wanted to get a nose job. I still sometimes do, but the thing is, I actually had a dream once, and I'd got a nose job, and I really felt like, like an intruder on myself. Like, I lost some huge part of myself, so I don't think I'd ever be able to get a nose job, no matter how, like, happy I'd say I would be about it. I just feel like I'd lost younger me, and, you know, something about me, that my uniqueness. And so, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep my nose the way it is. And again, like, you know what, I really love that saying, like, if the worst someone can say about you is your appearance, like, wow, you have such a horrible face, or look, you're so ugly, or you've got such a big nose, or comment on your appearance, that means you're doing a good job as a person. Because to be honest, if all they can say is something about how you look, that means at least your heart's not rotten, and that, like, you're a good person, and that you're doing your best, and they've got nothing else on you except the way you look. And again, like, if the worst someone can say is you've got a big nose, bro, you're kind of winning in life, low-key. What else? Always listen to your impulsivity. You make the best memories when you don't think. I think this one's a bit valid. There's times you can be impulsive. You know, there's times you should think things through, but there's also times when if you don't be impulsive at all your whole life, you're not gonna make memories. But if you're too impulsive, you'll make a lot of mistakes. There's, like, a fine line between it. Like, you have to listen to your impulsivity and, like, do fun things and make those memories, but then you also have to know when to say, no, this isn't right, I'm not gonna do this. And you have to, like, know when to stand your ground and also when to be impulsive. Don't let your happiness rely on others, because people can't be your sole reason to smile. I think this is true. If you want to be depressed, but don't let your happiness be something that only others can give to you, because others are very temperamental, you know what I mean? They'll be in your life, they'll leave, or they'll do you good, then they'll do you wrong, or they'll ghost you. So you can't let your happiness rely on them. You have to find a reason in yourself to be happy. Your gut feeling is your heart and mind trying to tell you something. Listen to it. And I do believe this one. Sometimes there's nights when I want to go out on a walk, I feel anxious or something in my stomach, and on those nights I don't go out on a walk. Even though this is, like, the safest country for women, I still don't do it, because my gut feeling's trying to tell me something and I'm trying to listen. I don't know what my gut's trying to protect me from, but I don't think it's wrong. So yeah. Just because, if you're still here and you're still watching, thank you guys so much for your support here today, but I feel like 50 minutes of me yapping is too much for people to, like, watch any further from, so I will read the rest of my notes in the next video. Leave down in the comments below what you liked about this podcast. I'd love your guys' feedback. you know. And shout out to my 4th subscriber. I swear I got another subscriber on YouTube. And yeah, I know it's 1 subscriber more, but it still means something to me. So thank you if you were the 1 person out there who's subscribing and watching these videos. I appreciate it. And yeah, everyone have a good night. I'll make another podcast whenever, probably. Whenever my life has gone hillbilly again, I'll probably be back on here yapping about something or another. But anyways, everyone have a good night. Yeah, be the best type of people you guys can be. Everyone can change. You're all good people. We all make mistakes. We all mess up, but